am Lorenzo Brocchini. I'm 56. I am married and we have 3 daughters. And I'm a psychologist, psychotherapist. I am an analytic psychotherapist of individual and group therapy, and also in psychotherapy. I worked for many years in a therapeutic community. I led therapeutic communities for drug addicted. And I worked there for about 28 years. And that is the time when I learned to, for myself, I went into a process of bonding psychotherapy, and that became my first specialization in therapeutic world. I decided to do bonding therapy when we worked in the community, because we had to manage with very tough people with many deep emotions kept inside and very difficult personality disorders. So they finally finished to hurt themselves, maybe when they got in touch with their emotions. So we had to learn something how to manage with these difficult situations. And so I went into teaching for myself. I went through bonding psychotherapy for me and the people who work with me, my staff. And then finally I decided to learn how to go to become a therapist. And so I underwent my process that lasted in few years, let's say 5-6 years of work for myself. Then finally I found it out that I could apply this method in my own practice, in individual sessions and in group sessions outside the therapeutic community. And this is one of the most interesting changes in my work, because in 2018, I left the community and I started to work as a professional, individual professional and group professional. I was very young. I graduated in law in 1994. And so in that time, I met this therapist of bonding psychotherapy who came into the community. Then after all that time, I forgot about bonding psychotherapy, but I remembered about that experience when I was a leader of the community, and I felt the need to learn something new for me and for my staff. So I called Don Gigetto, who is a teaching fellow in Italy, and he became my first teacher in bonding psychotherapy. And it was so important for me to also for my personal life, not only for a working life, because working on bonding psychotherapy, we go into deep emotions and we learn how to deal with deep emotions, how to express them, but also how to change our negative attitudes so we can focus on what's primary, and which were the difficult places into my experience where I decided to close up myself, not to express myself, or to hurt myself, maybe also to use drug or other attitudes, negative as to face what was difficult for me to face in life. So we go back to that point with bonding psychotherapy, and we go there through 3 ways that are behaviors, attitude, and emotions. And especially we try to focus on primary emotions, which are very simple and very human, basic emotion: rage, fear, pain, pleasure, love, and disgust. So we go into these deep emotions that finally lead us to recognize which were the bad choices we made in maybe a very, very early age. And since the time we went into a difficult path in order not to feel anymore those emotions, the emotions of fear, of pain, and maybe also of hate. And so now we go back into emotions to change our attitudes. This is the basic activity we do into bonding, using some techniques. And the main techniques is the relation with the other person. The main technique is going into a deep, very important feeling with the other one, maybe one single person or 2 of the group relation, and trying to focus what hurts our sense of belonging. Bonding means to create a bond. So the feeling of belonging to another person, to a group of person, to a family, and also to life. So when we, at that time, decided to not feel anymore that pain, that fear, then we also detached from other people, and maybe we detached from our emotions. So bonding also works on traumatic experiences and on detachment experiences. Those experiences where my body became frozen, became closed up to the others, and also maybe to myself. So sometimes I don't even know why I'd like to go closer to a person, but I cannot move. I'd like to open up my emotions, but I cannot say something. I cannot express myself. And going into the process of bonding, then we finally reconstruct this path to go towards other people and go towards our inner self, the deeper part of ourselves. I know it sounds difficult, but it's easier than we believe because we have to trust our emotions. And I trust my emotions. I don't fear anymore my emotions. So I practice a deep connection into myself, even if there is pain, even if there is fear, and I can bear that as I was taught by Gigetto, Ramon, Martin, my teachers, to stay in those emotions as long as it's needed. And so we can go there together, no fear, even if there is fear about that. But we can bear the fear, we can bear the pain, and stay in that need of closeness, which is the starting point of our suffering, maybe since the womb, since the relation with our mother, our father. So the maximum of openness in the maximum of closeness. These are the two main traits of bonding psychotherapy. I know it's difficult because we reject our emotions, and so we reject ourselves. We have to make peace with ourselves through making peace with our emotions. That starts to become love for ourselves. Let's say I was the youngest therapist for a long period. Now we have a good number of psychologists and psychotherapists who are learning bonding psychotherapy, especially here in my region. And we're trying to expand it. And we have regular groups actually here in my region and in Belluno and in Lombardia, in 3 regions in Italy. But it's not very well known yet. But it's okay. We are growing, and the movement is doing something new. As I say, to bring the bonding group outside of the therapeutic communities, to the people, to the relationships. And we work a lot with young people who, in many times, they are lost in feeling their own emotions and to leave their own emotion into the relationships. So we are really helping people to feel themselves and to learn how to act in a good relationship with the others. In one day work for therapists, we are going to introduce the work with attitude. All the work goes into emotions, but the focus is on attitude work. So I will explain how we manage to do attitude work, what is the meaning to do attitude work, and how we try to change attitude work in a high level of emotional contact. Usually when people work with traumatized people, say that they have to work with them into the tolerance position, the window of tolerance. Instead, we try to go into deep emotions that caused the start of the traumatic reaction, and we go together into that. So we have very deep emotional experiences with very strong bodily contact to keep the person in safe position, okay? And then we move from that position to express all the emotions and also to act all the movements that they needed to do. Let's say to say their fear, to say their rage, to act their rage, to protect themselves, to change the position where they were stuck at the beginning. And all this is guided by an attitude work. Let's say, as you were saying before, I don't feel lovable if you don't act as you wish. But if I am lovable without doing anything, just for myself. It is unconditional. So if I learned that my love has a cost and I always pay something, this is my attitude. I'm not lovable if I don't do something. So now we try to change this deep attitude that was structured since my early age and was deepened all the time in my life. So we go back and we try to change this attitude in a positive attitude. I am lovable, and to feel it with all my body. That means that I have to go through fear, I have to go through rage and to pain and to reach pleasure. So we choose the attitude and then we work on the attitude in the circle with other people. This is what psychotherapists can see, can focus with me, and I will introduce it in a theoretical way, but also in a practical way. So we'll go into work together with the people who want to experience on themselves, and then we go back into a review of what happened together. So we do some theory, some practice, and then back to theory altogether. So the group for professionals is meant for people who are in charge of other people. They want to help other people to grow into their personal life. So for psychologists, psychotherapists, psychiatrists, if they want, social workers and educators, and people who need to face other people in their difficulties and want to reach them where they are and not where they are supposed to be. So if they are into a deep pain or a deep fear, I can reach the person where the person is. And that I call emotional synchronization. I have to synchronize on the other personal level of emotion. So this is a good, not intellectual way of acting to the other person. We need intellectual approach and mental approach, but into relationships we better relate into emotional approach, which is not always crying. It's also pleasure and joy and love and all the kind of emotions. I can only say I appreciate very much the work of Agape, and I feel at home when I come to Agape. So it's a very nice place to share and to learn and to teach also and to live, let's say, connected living. So we can live in connection also with our emotions, even if I am Italian.